Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm an artist based in Glasgow in Scotland, and here on my channel I like to share what I get up to in my art studio and the mediums that I like to use. And today I have myself a challenge. I wanted to work on an art piece that I would spend 1 minute on a piece and then 10 minutes and then an hour. So I want to stagger the time that I spend on artwork. So basically what I'm going to do is show you the process and we're going to get to it. So if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for being here. And I wanted to show you that these are what we're going to be painting on. We're going to be painting on some art palettes, and I wanted to be able to use them before painting on them, but what I've done instead is textured them with some modeling paste. So we're going to get that authentic looking kind of effective texture at the background for the pieces, and then we're going to paint on them. So as I said, 1 minute, 10 minutes, and then an hour, and we'll see how we get on with that, because I might change that in the future depending on how far I get along with each piece. But yeah, it's going to be fun, and I wanted to be able to give myself challenges and also to improve my skill set, and why not bring you along on the journey for that. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So let me get set up here, turn you guys around, show you what we're going to be using as inspiration, and get on with it. So let me just sort myself out and we can get started. So yeah, I want to work on some kingfishers, and I've been looking at some of the images that I have. I'll put the image up at the corner that I'm trying to work with, and then I'll be able to share that with you. So I'm going to get straight into this, and I'm going to set my timer, which I will cut off that actual conversation, because I don't want to tell my machine and start interrupting all your houses. So I will tell her this. I will save her name off. I'll probably put it on the screen what name I'm saying, because I don't want to trigger, all your machines at home as well. So set alarm for 1 minute.
1 minute alarm set for 9:06 a.m.
Right. So what it is I will put the image up on the side here for you guys to see that I'm going to be working from, and I'm going to get straight into it. So let's see how I go with this. First, I'm going to get myself a pencil so that I can work on my image, and I'm going to get straight into it. I've been wanting to try these for a while. The further I get along with this, I will use some acrylic paint in it. That is not 1 minute. Are you kidding me? I didn't even I didn't even do very much. Oh my goodness. Stop. That was not very much at all. You can see here that I've got the little feet and I did the body. I didn't even get to the head. I can't believe that. Let's try a 10-minute one. Oh my goodness, that's so ridiculous. But yeah, let me get into a 10-minute one. So set alarm for 10 minutes.
10-minute alarm set for 9:17 a.m.
Right, let's get into this. So I'm using my blue coloring pencil here to sketch this out. And I'm not trying to be exact. I'm just, it would take a lot longer than 10 minutes to get this to where I could get it. So I'm just doing it overall, like this little body. I feel like I've put it too far that way. So, do you know what? I've set my time delay for my recording so I can see my screen mirroring, but I've not done it on my actual iPad, which I need to do so that I can keep seeing the little character that I'm trying to sketch here. So I am going to have to adjust that. So kingfishers, I love it because their heads are like really big, and then their bodies are like very tiny, kind of. So let's see. So just to sketch him out and then start painting him. I want to see how far I can get with getting some of these details so that I'd be able to paint him. And I'm going to be using my acrylics for that. So this is really a good way to get myself, not to think too much and just to get the details down. And I really want to also create a lot of these palettes with these beautiful characters on it. I did put some texture of modeling paste on this beforehand, and usually as well I could use them to paint with, but I wanted to get some of that texture in. And I will start working on some projects where I will paint on them, but I wanted to get quite a lot of these out. So whatever these bits of broken tree bark are over here, and one over here. So that's kind of cut off a little bit. So yeah, I've got my little character here, and then I'll see how much I can get in. There's some dots here that I will a bit of green there as well. So I'm going to use like my acrylics. I've got it set up here. I want to be able to add something to the background as well. So I want to use some brushes I've not been using for a while, but I'm going to do really quick moves on this. And this is actually a lot of fun. I'm going to just be putting layers with my acrylic and not think too much about it. Remember, I have 10 minutes and I need to get some colors down. So now I'm looking at this little orange body. So let me just wipe my brush off, and the orange, I'm trying to think which orange to use here, and a little bit of a wash on it. It's very bright, this orange, and it's not quite the orange I need. It's a bit in here, a bit in there. You can always push colors back, so I am not going to worry too much about that. It's like a green on this bit here. I can see a really muddied kind of color I have here. There is some of this back here as well. Here I'm seeing I don't have, there's a specific yellow. Oh yeah, that's what it was. I'm supposed to buy like a cadmium yellow, though I think I have cadmium yellow. I just can't seem to see it at the moment. But I'm going to add some white to this yellow instead, and just add some background. So you can start really bright and push it back with some other greens like I'm going to do here. I'm doing it really like washes at the beginning, because then I can add darker greens. It's like a sepia green, I mean a sap green in that background. Let me see. I've got my there's like a green around my little character. I think I need to add some blue into this. What would work with this. So as I said, I've added some texture into this so that I can already have that there on my palette. So I'm trying to be very quick. Remember, I have 10 minutes for this. And yeah, I really need to get like the cadmium yellow to make this a lighter yellow. This is not, it needs to be a cooler yellow, not this warm one that I have. So you would basically wait for some areas to dry, go over them again, which I don't currently have the luxury of doing. And bringing in some other colors as well. Like a cream. The white I have here is a cream, so I'm gonna go into this. I'm letting some of this dry because it will, then I can come back and work on it. But that was a very quick sketch that I did there, which I love quite. It was really good. Quick sketch. That went really well. So I'm going to put some of this cream in here somewhere. And in here, I need to mix some more of this cream, I think. So I can always come back in and go over areas. I'm not being too fussy about this. So I'm building layers with like the orange again. A different orange and mixing in some, so you can have something lighter. I could use a smaller brush. This orange isn't really popping for me. I'm gonna mix in and see where I could go with this. You can put a lot of like darker colors and build on that later. So it's quite a red little. Yeah, I need the cooler. I'm gonna stop repeating that, but also I'm being free with what it is that I do have. So just working on that. So this will help me with getting my colors and my own painting into some kind of like building my skills a bit more. That's what I want to do. Build my skills a bit more. Oh, I can hear one of the neighbors' dogs going there. Let's try and hone in a bit on this. So I'm washing up my brush a lot because I really want to just stick with what I'm seeing there. And if I wanted, I could go over this with, oh, my 10 minutes is up. Stop. So I went a bit further with this one. I didn't actually put the eye in, which I could have done. So what I'm going to do is the next one is going to be for an hour. Let's see what I come up with. Because I have to do all of this again. I have to sketch it and then I have to actually paint it. So yeah, I'm hoping I can replicate that. I'll just put that to the side and get on with the next one. So my next palette, and start again. So I'm going to set my alarm for 1 hour and hope I get further than I did with that first one. Set alarm for 1 hour.
1 hour alarm set for 10:17 a.m.
So let's start again. I really liked the layout of that last one. So I started my sketch a bit, not exactly where I wanted it, but let's just go with that. So I'm supposed to be looking at my actual drawing that I have in front of me. So I have an hour. Doesn't mean I should be a bit lazy. No, I want to get this done straight. So just hoping I get this similar drawing going, which is very good as well, I guess, for being able to replicate something and really, yeah, it's just doing a lot of things, I guess, doing this. I'm trying to take a bit more time, but I'm getting stiff, so I need to go faster. So I'm trying to look at the details. This comes down like that. So I do encourage you to do this yourself. I've been meaning to do this for some years, and I wanted to get more into a proper tutorial kind of situation with you guys here on the channel, and I'm finally pushing into that. So I don't feel like, I like the idea of starting with the body first, but here we are. push the rock down a bit more. Some random things here and a bit of the bark on that side. So there's some texture there. There's some dots here. And I really want to keep it just straight to the point. I might add some extra shadow in a little bit. I'm going to use a smaller brush as well to start. Well, actually, what I should do is do some of the background and then do some smaller with more detail. So I'm going to go in. Maybe I'll start lighter actually. So as I said, with acrylic, you can always layer, so it is not an issue. Let me see, actually, I have some yellow ink here that I might, so this is more the color that I'm saying could have been in this. But these are all the kind of details you can add after as well. So let me go into the green while I let that kind of like dry a little bit. See if I can mix more of a sap green and around my so this will get darker. I'm going to add some Prussian blue in there. It's gone very dark to try and I'm mixing different greens in here because I really want that to be part of the so I'm going to outline my little character. Moving the color around. And I'm going to let that all dry and then I will come in and add some more. So if I've got most of that done, I want to add some drips as well, actually. And taking my time to experiment a bit here. So I've let those drips happen. So while that is doing its thing, I'm going to go back into my actual kingfisher. I was about to call him fish finger again, or fish finger. So I'll use this bigger brush and then I will go in with like a smaller brush. These are the only areas where, so it is scary to try and do realism, or as close to realism. This is going to be an impressionistic take on this piece. And I have time to add more to it and experiment and play around. So I'm trying to mix different colors in here. Because I have more time, I can play around a little bit. I was trying to rush to get the main colors before, but this time I can try and get some shadowy bits. I'm gonna do the eye. I'm gonna use some Prussian blue and a little bit of the red I have there, and just get some kind of a eye. I'm kind of trying to add shadow areas in this. So I'll need to go into, so this is mainly what is here, and then once it's dried I can push back. So looking at other areas, so I'm not talking much because I'm just adding to areas, and this is like the little thing that this character is standing on. But yeah, so very rough look. I think I need to add some more. Let's see, I think I need to mix some more orange because this is not looking like what I need the orange to look like. So there's a bit more brown in it. Oh no, something's gotten in there. Let me see. Color's gotten in I didn't want. Let's rub some of that off. So it's trying to get the colors to fit like as closely as possible to what I'm looking at. This water is terrible, terrible. So layering with the acrylic is awesome because as areas dry, you can add more and more. So I am adding more and more. Supposed to be blue, I think. Light blue color going on in here. I'm going to go back and forth with what the colors are in there. I could use a more detailed brush actually. Bit of green in there. So it's slowly getting there. Let's see. A bit more green in there. And white. My colors are a mess. But I am fine with that. I'll need to make this a bit darker back here. So I'm trying to highlight, but it might be too soon that I'm doing that. I'm going to add some of this back here. It should be a gray, but that's fine. I'm just going to try and bring in, tighten this area here. So let's mix color. I'm going to tilt it. So I want to really get this color. Maybe I need to lighten it a bit actually. It's supposed to be, like I said, sage green. So fine tuning it there a little bit. And my wing here. So I'm looking in the picture to see what it looks like. A little bit of scumbling. Actually, let's see. So the other side as well needs a bit of that same treatment. But I'm trying to think what color is supposed to go in there. I like this area here behind this character. So what I'm going to do is do the gray, because there's a gray there, and I'm going to mix in this gray for the beak. So I put something there, but I need a smaller brush. I'm going to have to make it smaller, but I'm still trying to go back and forth with this one. I'll have to make something, I need to push something dark behind this because I'm not getting to see my little kingfisher here. His eyes, I need some orange to push. This area doesn't look correct. So a little bit of the orange in here. The eye. So the more you play around with areas, I'm going to make this so much darker at the back. because I really want him to stick out and he's not sticking out at the moment. So take my time. Just see what that looks like. Yeah, that beak needs to change quite a bit. It's not correct. And I'm going to actually end up spritzing some water on this because I want this to be right. Let me see some of this fluffy bird feathers there. Yep, I've already got some of this here. So just trying to build this up so that it's I can't keep it fully exactly like it is on the picture because it's not sticking out enough for me, for my liking. It's a very pale background, blurry pale background. So I am going to use my artistic license to go into some areas and help him to stand out. And also to carry the color into like what is actually on my little character. So I should wait for some of this to dry, I feel, because then it will be just better. There's so many areas I really love because of the way that the water has moved. There's still a lot to play with. And I'm gonna spritz. So I use this if I want to blend some areas and I want the colors to flow better together. So I'll go back into my little character and see, right, what else do I need to put? His little feet still need to go in. Just assessing what I've got so far. I want to change brushes as well. And I'm trying to think, did I use one of my new ones? I want to use this filbert brush to start bringing in some layers and some other details. I do have like some inks here, so I have this acrylic ink, which I might put a dollop here on my actual palette that I'm using here. So I'm just assessing it, taking a look, slowing myself down a little bit so that I'm not just putting things on for the sake of putting it on. But yeah, this is fun sharing this with you guys. So I know there needs to be more detail in my little character here. This white is not as white as it could be. It could be a creamy white anyway. So I'm going to add a bit of yellow and go in there into this. Actually, it looks like a really bright white, but I can keep adding layers. This white here isn't as it could be, so come in with something for this area as well. Let's see, and there's a little like thing. So yeah, just looking at different areas, trying to remember to use different brushes. And It's very bright what I've added there, but I'm exaggerating things. Another thing about acrylic paint is that they get darker after they dry, so being able to probably measure that difference. So I go very saturated sometimes. Gonna add some of this brown in here. Should probably add like some what do I call it, burnt umber, and then it's to push it back. I don't think there was enough of a value contrast thing going on in here, so I'm gonna put some of that in the background and then come back and go over it. It's the harder way to do it, but I'm not really washing my brush off very much. So it's layering, layering, going back and forth, layering again. So I will come back in there. It's a bit of a shadow under that one. I'm just having fun now because these shadows, I can paint over them again, so I am not too fussed about that. I'm gonna add some of this here and I can go over this again because I'm feeling like this should be a shadow area. So I've not even looked at this rock very well, so it's not playing a very strong part in here. I've just left it as a miscellaneous area. I'm gonna come back in with some lighter colors and start trying to blend, well, not blend, but add some other textures in areas. So I want to let the actual kingfisher dry, and then I'll just go into the background looking at some of the other areas. So like there's like some areas that have got like a gray, a neutral kind of color in it. I don't know, I'm just adding what I think makes it look interesting. I want to add more of this yellow. So as I said, acrylic, it works in layers, so sometimes you have to let things dry. So I try to move around the canvas to find areas that I can work on while other areas are drying. So that's what I tend to do, or if I feel like I need to have a break, I will walk away from here. But right now I am trying to figure out what to do with this area. I really love it, so I want to add some more to it. So it's acrylic ink, and it's like this light coming in that area, and some of these I added before, pushing some of this back. You can still see it in the layers, but another thing is I don't want, there's like some white areas peeking through, and I don't want those whites to be bare, so I am trying to cover that up. That was too white there. I'm going to put some more of the ink in. But this is another way to add color, because I like drips sometimes and things. So getting these inks is like a way for me to add some more details in. But this area is really lovely and textured. And I'm trying to think what else I want to add. So bringing some of the colors into my little bird as well, because that's how I go. So trying to think what else I can put down here. So working on the feathers. Adding variety of feathers in here, that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna be layering this over. And I'm just doing one stroke because I don't want to merge things in and make things get very smudged. So yeah, I can come back into the head area and try and see what to do with that. Let me get a smaller brush. I want to do some details. I could go smaller still. There's so many ways you can do this. So yeah, I'm gonna keep trying to see if maybe I do challenges like this. I think it's fun to see when you put the time in what you can get from it. So I am doing this before even having breakfast. Yeah, I should say, if I haven't said already, my name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm an artist based in Glasgow in Scotland. And here on my channel, I am sharing currently a new series that I want to focus on, which is to do with challenges and really trying to get myself to progress in different ways when it comes to my art and look at things differently a little bit so that I'm not stagnant. So doing these challenges is going to be fun, to paint different art pieces and to see what I can come up with. So this area actually needs to be a bit bigger. The orange is too small, that's not enough. So I'm gonna go in and increase this. So as I said, saturated is the name of the game for me. I love to work very saturated and then knock it back down the line. So while this is wet, so you're starting to see a bit brighter. This is a bit brighter and starting to pop off the page a little bit. And I will keep on going back and forth. So with my smaller brush as well, I could do a little bit more of some stuff, like get some other details into areas. Like just start, I know that there's some things that are not here, but I could start just, let me see, spread this out a little bit with my brush. A bit more of the yellow. So also I am still looking at this, my beak here, which still needs to be like it is. I'm just taking in some colors and pushing this back a bit. So that gray, I still need to fix that gray. I'm going to be using probably 2 brushes at once at this rate. So I'm going to add some color here, come back in and spread it with this one. This doesn't look exactly like what we're painting, but it's an inspiration from it. So that's the way I'm going to look at it. I need to put my own signature on things. You don't necessarily just copy what is in front of you. It's good to put your own signature on it. So yeah, we've come quite far with this, I would say. So I'm mixing some of the colors on my palette and I'm trying to look at where to bring it in, that it wouldn't cause an issue. Like the edges, playing around with the edges is really cool. And we're adding more depth the more we do with this. So I think I need to add more of the orange in here and do something with that. So it's always fine tuning. This eye might be too big. Oh, I think I'm getting hungrier and hungrier by the second. So I'm trying to see where I can see the orange on my painting. That is not where that is, so I'm going to move that away. So when I add them, then I'll come back and I'll push it back and I'll just be going back and forward. This white is a lot bigger than I've got it here for, so it's going to have to change. So I'm adding those layers, pushing some areas back that we can see right now. So I'm just going back and forth. This area isn't really, there's going to be a lot of fiddling about with this area. So trying to think what to put in here, if it should be lighter or darker. I feel like I should try darker first, like a really dark green, really dark green. But Should I break it all the way up? I like this area here, so I don't really want to bring it too far. I think playing around my character is the best way to go with this. And here, I need to put his feet in, so that's gonna have to happen in a minute. Let's put his feet in, because if not, that's gonna be missing. Let's just go saturate, and then we can go back with that a little bit. So saturate it. Blue. Let's put some shadow under his feet. So then looking at how to deal with this area here. Yeah, a whole bunch of grays going in here. So I'm just tidying a little bit here. My phone that I use for filming has been cutting out quite a bit. So here we go. We're going to get started again with the painting session. So yeah, I've gotten quite far with this. I just wanted to show you what I've been doing so far. And definitely it takes time to build the layers, but I've really enjoyed this so far. So I am trying to still get some of the details in the background, and I just did the feet. So we are going to keep going. So as I said, I will put the picture I got from the stock, free stock images, which is called Unsplash. You can also use Pexels. I'm trying to think if Pixabay, I think Pixabay is still there as well. These are where you can get free stock images that you can apply in your work, and then you use your own style to add to that. So to complement it, to expand on it. So these yellows here, I want to still keep on adding to it. So I'm going to try and do some extra, because this is what happens when you get a little bit stagnant. You need to use a different vessel for getting inspiration. So I am going to actually go ahead and start adding some more extra details into this. Oops, it's even splashing as well. So that's going to be added in here. Then I'm trying to think of the complement for the orange. Yes, you do have blue, which is natural for this kingfisher, but it's trying to get more and more of these details in. So let's try that now. So there's a lot of back and forth trying to get the right colors and as close as possible, or where you feel you can have artistic license in your creativity, you can do that as well. So I am adding here, and ooh, I'm seeing that this is quite big here actually. There's like, it's a lot smaller in the detail that happens here. It's not this big. So I'm gonna have to push back. And that's what I love about this, because the more you look, the more you see, you know, if something is not right. And this is definitely not right here. There needed to be a bit more white. And then I need to push this orange up a little bit more as well. So the orange is not where it's supposed to be, because this needs to be curved. I'm gonna add some white to that. Let's go up into this area. There's like a curve that it has. So I'm pushing in here. And I've gone with a really striking color just to get what I want, to see what I want in the picture, the image there. And this one saying the going back and forth really is a lot. And this is a lot more colorful than what I have on the screen. But as I said, that's the artistic license you need to bring into your work. You can't just copy exactly what is there. That's not necessarily what this is about. It is to get yourself into a place where you can dream. You can envision your own character. And now I'm getting into that place where I am going to start playing around with this. So with acrylics, sometimes it's good to have a wash. Other times it's actually a hindrance having a wash. So it's just interesting. Back and forth play of this. I want to get into the gray here as well, so I think this is, the job is done, and my hands are so not stable whenever I do this. I need to actually, I'm just going back and forth with this. I never seem to do it fully correct. Right, let me see if I can. So going back and forth. Wow, my hand is just not sturdy at all. It's like I have to keep on going back and forth to correct this. So under here there is like a reddish tint of how this should be. So I have to keep going back and forth. It's annoying, but there's like, it's almost like it's a curve here. So this is the nose area. The more that you're painting it, the more you start to understand the details of what's going on. And it's just really, really cool. Trying to mix a certain color here. So the more time I spend, the more I'm getting out of what's going on. And that there is more green on this than I think. Well, interesting detail. And as I said, let me see if I can make this even darker around it. The whole range of blues and other colors. A deep purple brown. So not as much talking because I'm concentrating so much on what it is that I'm doing. Artistic license in this bit. I'm very quiet. I am working in some details. I'm trying to look as well at what I could change of my little character. Remember, I having an hour for this part, and so I can do a lot more than I could before. So I'm taking my time to bring in some details. So I'm not sure how this is turning out right now. I'm kind of leaning into some of these marks that were made with the ink and adding some white to the yellow to get a little bit of extra dimension on this. As usual, I could spritz here if I wanted to add some more details, or I could just leave this to do whatever it's doing. I'm not really sure what it is doing. So there's a lot more that can be done with this. I am looking at the time. I think I hadn't added that many purple areas in this as well before, so let's bring in some of that, but I'm not sure if I like that. But it's like the subtleties, trying to bring in the subtleties of the movement on the piece, and still working on details like the eye. Still want to go in a little bit of the eye here and bring it out a little bit more. So there's so much more we could do with this still. I don't want that much water on my brush. So this is a 1 hour session, and their difference is noticeable. The 1 minute would not have done anything for this at all. 1 minute would not have done anything for this. I am going to go in here and try and sharpen this beak. And then let's see, gray. One day I'll get this right. It needs to go further in. This comes this way. Needs to be a thinner brush, I think. There's like a little bit of a detail. It needs to be a thinner brush. I might have to use an actual, like, either coloring pencil or something for this bit, because this detail is refusing to play ball here at all. It's completely refusing to do what it needs to do in here. This needs to come out a bit more. So it's in the detail, like trying to put the detail onto. And what else as well, like here. So as always, making it stick out. So as I said, that the acrylic paint, it gets darker, so let's just add more and more and get all the white areas out. I don't want to see any areas that are not. So coming in. So I'm trying to think what else I could add into this that would not ruin it, but I really like this area here with the detail. I like this coming in. I can always make it lighter. I can add more drips. I can go back into certain areas on like here and add more white in here and make it even more, you know, much brighter. add into areas. The brush isn't very clean. Colors are all merging together now. So yeah, I can make that whiter. And just keep adding details. This goes a bit further forward than it has. And also, maybe I could have made this lighter here. Look at that, the last minutes of painting and I'm trying to mess this up. So let's add a bit of that, and a bit of white. I feel like I could make this environment lighter. I don't know if I should. I like that green, but I feel like I want to try something else. But then at the same time, because it's white, and then I put this color here, I feel like it's going to take something away from that. So let's see what this looks like. So until you try, you won't know if it will work. So this is me seeing if it works, and I'm not sure about that. But I really want it to stand out, but then you've got all this other areas as well where right, let's see. So this could take forever trying to work this out. And as I said, some of these things will get darker, so seeing what I want to add. Experimentation, mark making. Is that what I want there? Do I want this here? Is this a distraction? It's like I have this urge to make it glow, but then glowing and also against this backdrop here, which helps it to stand out. So I feel like I shouldn't touch the background more than it is already. I should just work on this front area and see if I can make this more of the orange that it is. I feel like this needs like a yellow ochre or something. See, I've got this hue here. I'm gonna add that to my palette. I'm gonna use a bigger, like this, my filbert brush. Well, that water needs a serious change. And dry off my brush as much as possible and see if this color will make a difference. I'm going to use it straight and see what happens. It's got a really yellow glow in it. I feel like this, it's like Indian yellow, and it might be what I needed to add a dimension to this. So I'm going to add a bit of white to it. It's very yellow. Even more white. And some other colors are mixed in. So I didn't want to end up ruining this, so that is good. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there because then it would look like some other stuff would be going on. I think it's fine for what it is for the 1 hour, and it was a lot of fun sitting and taking my time with this. So this was the 1 hour session one, and this is the 10 minutes one. So you can see the difference of 10 minutes, 1 hour there. And then I don't think I should bother with 1 minute in the future, because look at that. I think it should be 5 minutes maybe, and then 15 minutes. I think that's what I'll do next time, because that 1 minute, that was just nonsense. But then to make me see that I could try drawing this twice, I can see where the time is, because this one, I mean, you can see I was actually judging where to put them. I didn't know how to approach this. I basically learned from this first one. It was quite high up, and then I decided this one I would try slightly that way, and it didn't work. And then I have adjusted from this to this one, and this is what we've had at the end of all of that. So it was too high, it was slightly too much to that side, and I have placed it somewhere that is more conducive to the actual art piece. So yeah, this was fun to do this. I want to do more of these for you guys here on the channel, so I will be doing that. But thank you so much for spending the time. Please do subscribe, and I do have links to like my website and my TikTok as well. And let me know in the comments, you know, what you thought about this and what you might want me to actually paint as well. That would be really cool to do these art challenges for myself. Like I said, I might increase it to 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and then an hour. I think that's a better maths than 1 minute. 1 minute and then 10 minutes and then 1 hour. So I will just say goodbye to you guys now and see you next week. Thank you so much for being here, and yeah, I'm gonna go off and get my breakfast now. Bye for now. Bye. Bye.